Phil DeBella, and you're listening to FlashCast by PDB. Welcome and thank you for listening and subscribing, and please rate these segments if you haven't already, and I would love you to share them with your friends, please. FlashCast by PDB. Join our Facebook page if you're not on there already. Today, I'm going to tackle something after spending some time with a group of startups, and very simply put, how do I know whether I need or should I get a business partner? Do I need a business partner? Should I get a business partner? And what is my opinion of that? And that came from a group of startups in a workshop I recently was part of. And very simply put, a great template that I'm going to explore in this Flashcast is very simple. The reason you get a business partner is for all three of these, or at least two of them. And they are: 1, money; 2, experience; 3, convenience. So money, experience, and convenience in no particular order. They are the three reasons why, and of course there'll be many others, but they're the three major reasons why you would want a business partner or need a business partner. And of course, a relationship where you rely on each other for all three. So financial support, expertise support, and convenience support are, to me, the relationships that work best. And I've worked with many people that have been in partnerships or are in partnerships, and I have a few partnerships in different businesses around the world. And the ones that work the best always come back to shared interest and reliability and need of each other's financial support, experience support, and convenience support. And on the flip side, the relationships that I find that don't work really well are the ones that are only because of money or because of experience or because of convenience, and saying that it only ticks one of the three boxes. So again, my advice to the startups group was very simple. Sit down and map out exactly what you need in terms of financial support now and say the next 3 years. What do you need in terms of experience, skill set? You know, what are the skill sets, the experience that you need now and over the next 3 years? And what is the convenience factor that you need between now and 3 years? And the convenience factor means, you know, if you've got a young family and you need to be away, a couple, 2 to 4 weeks a year to spend time with them, or you have a sick relative or someone's ill in your family, there's different factors that bring into convenience. And the convenience is normally that you need a certain level of freedom to be able to maneuver around. And we all know that when we start a business, freedom is probably your biggest liability. And I know that for a fact. When I started in 2002, freedom was my biggest liability. I didn't have a business partner. I had an amazing fiance who's now my wife for 15 years, but she was amazing and a big support and all the rest of it. But strictly speaking, as a business partner, I didn't have anyone else's financial support. I started with $5,000. I didn't have the expertise of anyone else working alongside of me or with me. I was working in an organization for 9 years where I taught myself all of the tools that I needed, and I was able to learn what not to do in business, which fast-tracked my learning and all the rest of it. And the third part was that a convenience. I didn't really have the convenience, but I couldn't bring a partner in just to be convenient. And in saying that, there was over three or four offers that I remember vividly of people wanting to partner with me. And when I would ask them, why do you want to partner with me? They couldn't answer. Simply put, they didn't tick any boxes around financial support, experience, or convenience. Surely they wanted to put money in, but that was it. And to me, money wasn't going to be enough. I didn't need somebody's financial support in the business. I really sat down and was pragmatic about it. And I sat down, and I remember vividly in 2002 with Jana and said, well, if I'm taking on a partner, why? And Jana at the time said, well, why would you want to take on somebody else's opinions when you don't need them? Why would you want to take on somebody else's money when you don't need it? And it was some really, really good advice. And it's advice that, 15 years later or 16 years later, we're talking about is that sit down. If you're thinking, why do I need a business partner? Should I get a business partner? Sit down and write down again, what is it that you need financially? What is it that you need from an experience skill set and from a technical point or from a skill set or from a knowledge point? And then sit down and what do you need around convenience, around freedom? What's happening in your life that really is important, that needs your attention, where the business won't be able to have it. And if somebody can tick all of those three things, then the answer is very clear. And then, of course, if they can tick two of the three, then you have to look at it. So I always say, if you're not ticking a minimum of two of those three things, you're wasting your time thinking about business partners and taking on extra people. You've got to remember that there is a certain amount of success around being able to make decisions freely. And what I mean by that is that, everything that is good today normally becomes harder tomorrow, and whatever's harder today normally becomes easier. And partnerships can work really, really well when you have shared interest. But when there's not a shared interest and a shared vision, then they don't. I've got partners in New York, and it works beautifully because we all rely on each other's financial support, we rely on each other's experience support, and we rely on each other's convenience support to have the freedom to do what we want to do. So therefore, my venture, Abbotsford Road in New York, works beautifully with 2 other partners. So there's 3 of us all together. And again, we all tick the 3 boxes that we need to, and therefore we have a very harmonious partnership. Because I am very clear about what I was willing to do financially. I'm clear about the expertise that I wanted to work with me. And I was very clear about the freedom parameters that I didn't want to work full time within the business. And of course, Carl would have his parameters, and they tick all 3 of his, and Logan would have his. And that's why the 3 of us work really, really well together. In what we're creating, a very big business in New York City, replicating obviously the back of the success of DeBella in Australia. And so I've get to see both. DeBella I did on my own, of course, with my wife, Jana, who came into the business later on and was an amazing support and partner, and couldn't have achieved what we did without her. And what did obviously Jana bring? Jana brought expertise and convenience to the equation. Obviously, financially, my success was her success. So we already ticked that box. But, she brought in expertise and convenience at DeBella, and ultimately obviously became my business partner and life partner, and it worked beautifully together. And now, of course, I've got partners in New York, and it's a different style of partnership, and it works beautifully as well. So from my personal experience, anyone that's sitting there and asking that question, do I need business partners? Should I get business partners? They really need to sit down and answer and tackle those 3 things: finance, experience, and convenience. And when you really map out what it is that you need, the answer will fall out at the end of whether you need a business partner or not. And of course, remember that everybody on the bus has to be traveling in the same direction. So I'm going to close in saying 2 things. Make sure that everybody that gets on that bus, that your journey is traveling in the same direction. You have to have a shared vision. If you don't have a shared vision, if you don't share what success looks like, you're going to have problems, no matter the financial support, the technical support, and the convenience. You have to have a shared vision. And then the last part I want to leave you with, perhaps the most important, is that whilst you might have multiple business partners, there's only one person that can hold the steering wheel of a bus. And if you visualize, and I use analogies all the time, you'll know that if you listen to obviously the FlashCast, is that only one person can drive the bus. If 3 people tried to grab the steering wheel of the bus, it's going in different directions. You are going to have big, big problems. Right? So only one person can drive that bus. Of course, it drives that bus with the advice of everybody around it and everybody that has a vested interest. And of course, if everybody has a shared vision and agrees with what success looks like, you're never going to have, well, not never, you're going to have minimal problems. So I hope there's some nuggets of gold there for you. As always, be the best you can be. Remember that people's limitations are often self-imposed, so please don't be putting limitations on yourself. Adopt that growth mindset and go and be the best you can be. You've been listening to Phil DeBella, FlashCast by PDB. Thank you.